South Korea entered 2025 believing its entertainment empire was stronger than ever, polished, disciplined, global, unstoppable. But beneath the sparkling stages, the perfectly curated Instagram feeds, and the billion-dollar agencies shaping the image of K-culture, something was already cracking. And when the year finally unfolded, those cracks split wide open. One by one, some of the industry's most recognizable faces fell from grace, swallowed by scandals, lawsuits, leaked files, and secrets that the media tried desperately to bury. These weren't minor controversies or short-lived internet storms. They were the kind of collapses that destroyed reputations overnight, ended careers that took decades to build, and exposed the ruthless machinery behind the K-Biz glamour. Fans who once worshipped their idols were suddenly forced to confront the uncomfortable truth. Even the brightest stars could lose everything in a single moment, and the system designed to protect them was often the same system prepared to sacrifice them when things went wrong. Some fell because of personal mistakes. Others were crushed by forces far larger than themselves. And a few were simply victims of an industry that demands perfection, but offers no mercy. Tonight, we're going deeper than the headlines, beyond the official statements, past the stories polished for public relations. This is the side of Korean entertainment that rarely sees the light of day. These are the 10 Korean stars who lost everything in 2025, and the hidden stories the media hoped you would never hear. At number 10 is the actor many believed had finally escaped controversy, only to be pulled back into the storm he thought he'd left behind. Kim Seon-ho spent years rebuilding his career after a scandal that nearly ended it once already, slowly regaining public trust with stage performances, carefully chosen projects, and a silence that convinced fans he was ready for a quiet, steady comeback. But in early 2025, a production company filed a revived claim, demanding financial compensation for an abandoned project tied to his past controversy, reigniting debates that had been dormant for years. The lawsuit didn't reveal any shocking new information, yet the public reaction was immediate and brutal. Old articles resurfaced, anonymous insiders returned with rehearsed opinions, and online forums filled with dissected timelines from 4 years earlier. Brands that had only just begun warming up to him froze negotiations again, waiting to see whether the legal battle would escalate. Even though Seon-ho maintained his innocence, and his agency insisted the claim was baseless, the very existence of the case was enough to shake everything he had worked so hard to rebuild. It wasn't the lawsuit itself that made him lose ground. It was the reminder that in South Korea's unforgiving entertainment world, past mistakes shadow careers forever. And as Seon-ho braced himself for another round of public scrutiny, another fallen star stepped into the spotlight. This time, a former idol facing a battle that exposed the dark side of contracts, loyalty, and the price of walking away. At number 9 is Park So-yeon, a former idol who entered 2025 hoping to reinvent herself, only to watch everything collapse when a contract dispute exploded into one of the year's most chaotic legal battles. After years away from the center of the spotlight, So-yeon had begun rebuilding her reputation through musicals, variety appearances, and independent projects. But in February 2025, her agency filed a lawsuit accusing her of violating schedule agreements, canceling contracted appearances, and causing financial losses. The moment the lawsuit hit the press, the narrative spun out of her control. Headlines labeled her unprofessional. Anonymous staff claimed she had been difficult to work with, and entertainment reporters began digging into her past, as if searching for patterns of misconduct. So-yeon fought back, insisting she had been overworked, underpaid, and trapped in an outdated contract that didn't reflect her current career. The problem was that no one truly knew who to believe. Both sides released fragments of documents, each shaping a different version of truth, and the public watched the battle unfold like a drama with no clear protagonist. Within days, brands halted promotions, show producers quietly recast supporting roles she had secured, and gossip channels framed her as an example of idols who can adapt after leaving the system. By the time the dust settled, So-yeon had lost nearly all her scheduled work for the year. Not because her talent vanished, but because controversy in K-Biz spreads faster than any attempt to defend yourself. And as her downfall played out in real time, another scandal emerged, this time involving a lifestyle influencer whose carefully curated image couldn't survive the truth. At number 8 is Song Ji-ah, better known as Freesia, the lifestyle influencer who once rose to international fame on the back of designer fashion, immaculate aesthetics, and a carefully cultivated aura of luxury. After her 2022 fake luxury scandal, she spent years rebuilding, choosing softer content, quieter appearances, and a more grounded public persona. By 2025, it seemed like she had finally regained a stable footing, until a new wave of controversy struck and erased any progress she had made. This time, the issue wasn't fake clothes. It was allegations that she manipulated evidence in a brand sponsorship, editing skincare product test results to make the campaign appear more effective than it actually was. A whistleblower from the marketing team behind the collaboration leaked internal comparisons, showing discrepancies between the raw data and the version posted on her channels. Korea's Fair Trade Commission quickly announced a review, and the reaction was immediate. Brands cut ties, her follower growth halted overnight, and the public accused her of repeating the same pattern, placing image over honesty. Ji-ah apologized, insisting she only followed instructions from the brand, but the narrative had already escaped her grasp. Commentators began labeling her as the face of manufactured authenticity, a symbol of everything wrong with the influencer economy. In a single week, the comeback she fought for evaporated, reminding Korea that trust once broken is nearly impossible to rebuild. And as Ji-ah fell for the second time, another star's reputation crumbled, this time over a single piece of leaked footage that changed how the nation saw him forever. At number 7 is a scandal that flipped public perception overnight. The downfall of actor Ahn Bo-hyun after a leaked backstage clip revealed a side of him no one expected. For years, he built his reputation as one of the industry's most grounded personalities. Polite, respectful, soft-spoken, the kind of celebrity who treated every staff member as an equal. That image became his trademark. It was the reason brands trusted him, why producers loved casting him, and why viewers embraced him as a gentle giant. But early in 2025, a short, shaky video began circulating online. In it, an exhausted Ahn Bo-hyun appeared visibly frustrated with a coordinator during a late-night shoot, snapping at her over a costume issue and demanding the scene be reset immediately. The clip was only 20 seconds long, but it was enough to set the internet on fire. Within hours, hashtags questioning his real personality trended on Korean social platforms. Some fans defended him, pointing out how grueling filming schedules could push anyone to a breaking point. Others insisted his reaction revealed a hidden arrogance and a long-overlooked pattern of entitlement in the industry. Anonymous crew members from unrelated productions chimed in, sharing conflicting accounts, some praising his professionalism, others claiming he had moments like this more often than fans would believe. The uncertainty only fueled the chaos. Sponsors immediately froze campaigns. A luxury brand removed his billboard from Gangnam within 48 hours. His agency released a carefully worded apology, but its neutral tone suggested damage control rather than sincerity. The scandal didn't expose a crime. It exposed a personality crack that Korea couldn't ignore. And while Ahn Bo-hyun tried to repair the image he had spent years crafting, another scandal was forming. This time involving a woman whose storms never truly stopped, and whose past returned with enough force to erase her comeback entirely. At number 6 is Seo Ye-ji, the actress whose career has been defined by one of the most polarizing scandals in modern Korean entertainment, one that returned in 2025 with enough force to wipe out everything she had rebuilt. After years away from public view, she quietly began preparing for a cautious comeback, signing with a new agency, reviewing scripts and positioning herself for a redemption arc. But just as the possibility of a fresh start emerged, 5 former staff members stepped forward with new documents and internal messages, alleging years of manipulative behavior, emotional pressure, and intimidation behind closed doors. Their statements reignited the gaslighting controversy that first toppled her career in 2021. Except this time, the allegations came with detailed timelines, cross-checked accounts, and testimonies from individuals who had worked with her across multiple projects. Korean media immediately picked up the story, labeling it the scandal that refused to stay buried. Production teams distanced themselves within hours. 2 dramas that reportedly considered casting her held emergency meetings and removed her name entirely. Advertisers who had once flirted with the idea of welcoming her back instantly abandoned negotiations. Even fans who had defended her for years struggled to navigate the new information. Commentators across major TV networks discussed whether the industry should establish clearer guidelines about celebrity conduct and workplace behavior, pointing out how power dynamics often silence junior staff. Until they don't. Ye-ji released a short statement denying deliberate harm, but expressed no intention to return to public activities, fueling speculation that she knew the comeback window had closed for good. In 2025, she didn't just lose a role or a contract. She lost the final chance to reclaim the career she once dominated. And while her fall was dramatic, the next case involved an idol whose scandal didn't break laws, but shattered the delicate boundary between fame, fans, and ethics. At number 5 is Kim Woo-jin, a former boy group member who stepped into 2025 determined to build an independent career, only to collide with a scandal that didn't involve crime, but carried enough ethical weight to erase everything he had rebuilt. In March, a series of screenshots spread across social media, allegedly showing private messages between Woo-jin and a fan significantly younger than him. The messages were not explicit nor illegal, and Korean authorities later confirmed that no crime had been committed. But they revealed a tone that felt uncomfortably familiar to anyone who understood the fragile parasocial boundaries in K-pop. Flirtation from a celebrity towards someone he knew was a fan, someone who admired him, someone who looked up to him. As the screenshots gained traction, the public question shifted from legality to morality. Did Woo-jin knowingly use his status to blur emotional lines? Was he leveraging the intimacy fans were conditioned to feel for idols? Fandom split in half. Some defended him passionately, arguing that the interaction had been consensual and harmless. Others accused him of violating the unwritten code of idol fan ethics, a cultural contract as powerful as any legal document. Brands withdrew collaborations within 24 hours. A small fan meeting tour, months in preparation, was suspended indefinitely. YouTube channels and online forums resurrected older allegations, creating a loop of suspicion that drowned any attempt Woo-jin made to clarify the situation. His agency insisted the screenshots were taken out of context, but the tide had already turned. In the ruthless logic of K-Biz, once the public questions your character, your next comeback becomes an uphill battle no one wants to financially support. Woo-jin didn't lose his career to criminal charges, he lost it to perception. And as he disappeared from the conversation, the next scandal didn't target an individual at all, but the foundation of K-pop training itself. At number 4 is the scandal that didn't take down a single celebrity, but instead exposed the machinery that creates them. In 2025, South Korea's Ministry of Employment and Labor released an unexpected announcement. They were launching an official investigation into several major entertainment agencies, with HYBE placed at the center of the inquiry, after multiple anonymous trainee statements described extreme working conditions. These trainees, some as young as 14, alleged they were training 14 to 16 hours a day without proper compensation, with mandatory diet controls, sleep restrictions, and schedules so rigid that they barely saw sunlight for weeks at a time. They spoke of monthly evaluation crises, where a single mistake could determine whether they continued or were cut, and a verbal pressure disguised as motivation, pushing them to compete against one another as if survival itself depended on it. What made the scandal explode was not the allegations. Those had circulated in whispers for years, but the fact that the government was now involved, validating claims fans had long dismissed as exaggeration. Hybe issued a statement calling the reports misinterpreted, but insiders contradicted them with screenshots, training logs, and voice recordings describing the suffocating intensity of the system. Public opinion swung fast. Parents expressed outrage on national television. Health professionals discussed the long-term psychological damage such environments could cause. Fans suddenly questioned whether their favorite idols had endured the same conditions. Conditions masked by the glamour of polished debuts and perfectly executed stages. No individual trainee was blamed, but many became symbols of a broken structure, their dreams twisted into evidence against the very companies that promised to make them stars. By the time the investigation expanded to include multiple agencies, trust in the idol manufacturing pipeline had fractured, setting the stage for a far more explosive scandal, one involving a top actor whose personal decisions would destroy not just his reputation, but an entire drama worth tens of billions of won. At number 3 is the scandal that sent shockwaves through South Korea's drama industry, not only because of the actor involved, but because of the staggering financial collapse that followed. Chang-wook had long been considered one of the safest, most bankable leading men in K-drama, a star whose clean image and consistent performance made him a favorite of advertisers, production studios, and international streaming platforms. But that image shattered in mid-2025 when 2 women separately came forward, claiming they had overlapping relationships with the actor, releasing private messages and timelines that painted a picture of emotional manipulation, dishonesty, and deliberate concealment. While the allegations did not involve criminal behavior, the moral fallout was immediate and devastating. The timing made everything worse. Chang-wook had already completed roughly half of filming for what broadcasters predicted would be the biggest drama of the year, a project backed by major investors, multiple global platforms, and a production budget exceeding 30 billion won. Within hours of the scandal breaking, sponsors pulled out. International partners demanded emergency meetings, and KBS released a statement announcing they were reviewing all options. The pressure grew too heavy, and producers made the unprecedented decision to halt the drama entirely, scrapping months of work, firing hundreds of staff, and burning millions that would never be recovered. Industry analysts called it the most financially damaging entertainment scandal South Korea had seen in years. Fans were divided between heartbreak and anger. Critics dissected the culture of celebrity power, and networks quietly updated their risk assessment guidelines, placing new restrictions on casting decisions moving forward. Chang-wook apologized publicly, but disappeared from the spotlight soon after. His once stable career abruptly suspended with no guarantee of return. And while his downfall destroyed a single production, the next scandal would strike at the heart of one of Korea's most famous idols, triggering a national shock that reached far beyond entertainment into politics, finance, and public trust. At number 2 is the scandal that stunned South Korea, not because it was unprecedented, but because it happened to someone who had already survived one of the most polarizing storms in K-pop history. Irene, once the proud center of Red Velvet and one of the most recognizable faces in Korean entertainment, began 2025 quietly, maintaining a low profile after years of navigating public distrust. Many believed she had stabilized her career until the National Tax Service announced a renewed investigation into irregularities tied to her personal earnings, overseas sponsorship fees, and brand activities spanning several years. The news didn't accuse her of intentional wrongdoing, but the implication alone was enough to reignite a firestorm. Old controversies resurfaced instantly. Comment sections flooded with debates about her past behavior scandal, with critics using the tax review as proof of deeper issues, and supporters arguing she was being targeted unfairly due to her notoriety. Reports claimed that her assets were temporarily frozen pending clarification, and agencies tied to her previous endorsements quietly removed old promotional content, not wanting to be linked to the investigation until it concluded. Financial experts appeared on morning programs to explain the severity of a second tax probe, highlighting how rare it was for public figures to face repeated scrutiny unless the authorities believed something was worth re-examining. Even though Irene's team released a statement insisting full cooperation and transparency, the damage spread faster than any official clarification. Scheduled events were canceled. A comeback discussion with a major label reportedly dissolved overnight. Industry insiders whispered privately that no company wanted to risk a brand partnership with her until the investigation ended. In K-Biz, perception often matters more than truth, and the mere existence of a government audit was enough to derail her fragile career recovery. Irene didn't face criminal charges, but she faced something almost as destructive: a second wave of public judgment that proved South Korea rarely forgives twice. And as her story faded into uncertainty, the year's most devastating scandal was already looming. One not about a single star losing everything, but about an entire industry's darkest secret finally being dragged into the light. At number 1 is the scandal that didn't just take down a celebrity. It cracked open the architecture of South Korea's entertainment machine and revealed a truth so unsettling that even the biggest media networks struggled to contain it. In October 2025, an anonymous whistleblower leaked a 37-page internal document allegedly exchanged between high-ranking figures from 3 of the nation's most influential entertainment powerhouses: SM Entertainment, CJINM, and Kakao's extended management network. The document, which spread across encrypted forums before reaching major news desks, detailed a series of covert agreements that the media immediately labeled the K-Biz Collusion Files. Its contents read like a blueprint of manipulation: prearranged schedules determining which artist could make a comeback during each quarter, quiet deals to block competing groups from appearing on certain music shows, unofficial ranking systems dictating which companies received prime exposure during award seasons, and a coordinated strategy to bury or delay scandals depending on whose reputation needed protection. The most explosive section involved 3 names: Tak Young-jun of SM, Kang Ho-sung of CJENM, and Han Sung-soo, formerly tied to Pledis and Kakao M. Their alleged correspondence outlined tactics for controlling media narratives, steering reporter access, and ensuring that certain artists, regardless of talent, remained at the top of the industry through orchestrated visibility. Within hours of the leak, all 3 companies denied wrongdoing, calling the documents fabricated, but journalists noted that the writing style, internal terminology, and timestamp schedules matched known industry patterns too closely to dismiss. Lawmakers demanded answers. The Ministry of Justice launched a preliminary inquiry. Fans mobilized in outrage, asking whether their favorite idols had been victims of a system that treated them as commodities rather than individuals. Some artists subtly hinted online that the allegations were accurate, liking posts criticizing industry politics before deleting them minutes later. Advertisers panicked, unsure how deeply the collusion might have influenced public perception, and entertainment executives were summoned for closed-door questioning. Suddenly, every achievement, from rookie awards to chart success, was re-examined under a harsher light. If the files were real, then the foundations of K-pop's global rise were not built solely on talent and hard work, but also on invisible strings pulled by corporate giants who decided which careers thrived and which disappeared. Even after official investigations slowed, the damage was permanent. Trust evaporated. Fans realized the industry they worshipped had been curated like a controlled ecosystem, and artists themselves were forced to confront the uncomfortable truth that their careers might never have been entirely their own. In a year filled with personal downfalls, this systemic scandal was the one that proved losing. Everything didn't just happen to individuals. It happened to an entire industry the moment its secrets came to light. When the dust finally settled on 2025, South Korea's entertainment industry looked nothing like the glittering empire it had been at the start of the year. 10 stars had watched their careers crumble in real time, some because of their own mistakes, some because of circumstances they couldn't control, and others because they were caught in a system that demanded perfection while offering none of the protection it promised. But the real story of 2025 wasn't just about careers ending. It was about illusions breaking. For years, K-Biz sold the world an image of flawless idols, untouchable actors, and pristine corporate structures, each piece fitting into a narrative of Korean excellence. Yet behind that perfection was a quiet brutality, a culture of silence, impossible expectations, punishing workloads, and hidden power games that finally erupted into public view. Fans didn't just lose trust in certain celebrities, they started questioning the entire system that shaped them. Agencies felt the shift, broadcasters felt it. Even the government felt it. And for the first time in a long time, Korea was forced to confront the possibility that the industry it projected to the world was far more fragile, far more manipulated, and far more human than anyone wanted to admit. The question now is not who fell in 2025, but who can survive what comes next. Because after a year like this, one truth became undeniable. In K-Biz, the brightest spotlight always casts the darkest shadow. Which of these 10 stories shocked you the most?